Hello out there. It's another week and weekend has passed by. Football continues to dominate. Ghanaian players continue to sparkle in Europe's top leagues. Italy, England, Spain, Germany, everywhere you see Ghanaian players. So over the weekend, Ayew was not in action as he continues to get mended back from an injury that promises to keep him up until December. But in Germany, there was action for Baba Rahman. In England, there was action for Daniel Amati, another 90 minutes for the man who replaces N'Golo Kante in the hole at Leicester City. All this and more, I'll introduce my guest in a jiffy. So today, a man you'll be seeing this season makes his first appearances. Hi, Nana.
Hi, Rahman. How are you?
I'm happy to have you.
I'm also happy to be here.
Well, in discussion.
Certainly can.
Fantastic. Let's start with my top performer of Ghana this weekend, Daniel Amati. 90 minutes again for Leicester as they were too strong for Burnley in the championship. He looks like the man that will replace N'Golo Kante eventually. Is he there yet?
Well, he's been muted as the man who will replace him, but he's not quite there yet. His ability to move from box to box is something that has not been developed yet. That is something that's got to be nurtured. It's something that's got to be developed. His stamina has got to be really built upon in order to extend his capacity to play in a similar way that Kante used to play. I think it's a fallacy.
Does he have to play like Kante, or he just needs to?
I was just about to say, I think it's a fallacy to say that we have to really remold him as a Kante lookalike on the field. I don't think that's necessary. I think there is a need, obviously, for him to be able to go in between the two boxes, obviously, because there's a lot of work that has to be done there. But to say he should fill the boots of Kante, I don't think that can ever happen. These are two different players with two different qualities. I think if he can make the box-to-box effort and still be very competitive in the middle of the park, I think that's sufficient. I think the quality players around him, for them, their contribution must be such that wherever he lacks in quality, in terms of the Kante mould, that they will pick up and subsidise. It's not a situation where they should sit back and expect this young man to come and do everything just like Kante did. They must come in and add their quota to it in order to make the team complete, because it's not just one man. And I think it'll take a little bit of time. He's had 2 games at 90 minutes so far. He's done well. There's been 1 or 2 lapses. He's got to stay focused. He's got to maintain his concentration for the 90 minutes. And stamina for me is an issue. And what's also very important, which nobody talks about Kante, is what he does when he's not on the ball. And that's very, very important. Amati has to be a little bit more proactive when he's not on the ball, and it will show that he's got good skills of an anticipatory nature. I think this is really what's very important, because we can all see he can play football. Okay, so we all know the qualities Daniel Amati has got. Like Nana is saying, there's still a lot of work to be done with him. One player that is beginning to find game time is Christian Atsu. He's been everywhere, I must admit, but he's looking like a player that will play under Rafael Benitez. Well, let's see. I think it's too early to say. He's come on in the last couple of games. He's come on as a substitute. I think that's a big bonus, because if you look back on what's been happening with him so far, he hasn't seen a lot of playing time. I think he still has a lot to learn in terms of association football. And you see the football that Newcastle are going to play, he has to adapt to. And he's not quite adapted to European football, and this is why he's had a problem at all the clubs he has been to. He has come out to say that the best league he has played in, I think, was Spain or Italy or wherever he was the last time. Well, Porto was good, but the last club he went to just before he went to Newcastle, he said he was very happy there and had settled in. But I think he's got a lot of adapting to do. He's the one who's got to focus. He's the one who's got to concentrate.
We'll see about that. So there's 5 games also for Jordan Ayew in the championship, but no goal yet.
Well, Jordan, I used to mute Jordan a lot, and I think he's a good player. He's a quality player. He doesn't have the killer instinct to hit the back of the net quite yet. He wanted to move away from Aston Villa, which I think would have been very bad for him, detrimental for him. I think he's got to work his socks off at Aston Villa and prove that he is a striker. It's not easy being a striker, and I don't think he's proved that he's a striker yet.
Well, the early pace has been set in the EPL. One player that will come back later, we all know, is Ayew. Wish him all the best and hope that he is back with a bang. Let's go to Germany. Baba Rahman again played for Schalke. He looks as if he's very comfortable in Germany.
Well, he settled back in very quickly. I mean, a stunning goal he scored the other day. It reminds me of the goal Messi scored midweek. Almost a similar thing, similar position. Lovely strike. I listened to his interview. He sounds full of confidence. He sounds very assured about himself. He knows what he's about. And I hope he settles into Schalke 04 very, very well, because I think it will help him on a national team level as well. Because, to be honest with you, nationally, I've not seen the type of Baba Rahman that I've seen before.
I agree with you before. I agree with you on that point. I think that there's a huge gap between the performance at club level and that at the national level. Let's go to Italy. A lot of Ghanaians were in action over the weekend. So Agyemang played, Alfred Duncan played, Asamoah played, and Kojo is getting a lot of games also. And then a free Aqua played. If you sum all these players, who made a point for you?
Well, I think it's always nice for Asamoah, because he's somebody that we need to sparkle on an international level, and for some time now he's not been able to do that. So for me, I'm always happy to see that Asamoah gets some minutes under his belt, because he's somebody we're going to call for. Agyemang, well, he's been doing what he normally does. He's a good footballer. He's proven himself over a number of years. I think now, perhaps even at a national level, we need to start looking at a succession plan when it comes to him. He's not getting any younger. Yes, he's strong. Yes, he's resilient. He's doing good at Udinese. But I think in terms of Ghana as a national entity, I think that we need to look at succession.
In Turkey, Samolinko played his first game and lasted 90 minutes of the game. I'm told he's one of the top performers in Turkey. You think he's really got the stuff again?
To be honest with you, no. I'm happy for him he's in Turkey. And a lot can happen in Turkey, but I don't think it's anything that's going to be really notable that we probably recall him back into the senior national team. But I mean, it's good for him. He's moved around a bit. He's had a few challenges here and there, but he's resilient, and mentally he's got the fortitude, and he's survived the test of time. So I think it's good for him that he's still playing. He was a fantastic player. He's still a good player, but the sparkle and these things die down after a period of time.
Skipper of the side, Asamoah Gyan, there are a lot of issues around him, but he seems to be loving playing in the UAE. Over the weekend, he scored a goal again. It's a sign of good things to come, isn't it?
Well, a sign of good things to come in UAE. Why not? I mean, that's where he is. He's our arrowhead, and he's made records here, and you can't deny it. He's the best striker that we have. I'm not happy where he's playing, but he's happy where he's playing. I think it takes a little off his pedigree. I think it takes a little sharpness off his prowess in terms of his ability to score goals at national team level, but he's happy there, and you've got to be grateful that he's playing. At least he's getting fit again, and when we have our national matches come up, at least we can call upon him and he can answer that call. So for that, I'm grateful. But apart from that, I think, well, I would have loved to have seen him at Reading or somewhere in the United Kingdom, because the challenge is much greater. He gets pushed much more, and then once he starts delivering, you know you're back to that old Asamoah Gyan.
Well, the puzzle of Gyan will never go away. The issue about Reading signing, failing medical and everything is in the past now. These days, Gyan is scoring a lot of goals. Elsewhere in France, there was an action for Abdel Majid, whereas in Portugal, Asamoah Gyan, the younger brother of Mubarak Okaso, was in full-blown action for Rio Ave as they beat Sporting, the club that almost held Real Madrid to ransom in the Champions League. They beat them by 3-1. But we cannot go without talking about our own Ghana Premier League. It's finally come to an end. And guess what? War All-Stars, or Kwesi Nyantakyi's War All-Stars, were champions of the Ghana Premier League. Nana, were you impressed with the sort of league we had? And which players stood out for you?
Well, when you say impressed, look, I was happy that the league continued unabated, even though it didn't have sponsorship. I think we've not crossed the pain barrier yet as such. The champions of the league had 51 points. How many goals did they really score? How many goals did they really concede? How different was it to last season? How many games did they win away from home? How many games did they win at home? I think when you gather all these statistics, it tells a rather painful story that we're not progressing in the way that we should be progressing. I'm happy for Wild Stars because I think out of all the Premiership clubs, they had the best preparation. They went away to the Gulf, Saudi or somewhere like that, and they prepared. Where did all the other clubs go? I have no idea. I don't believe they went anywhere. And I think on that basis, they psyched up the players, they psyched up the technical team, they got the mentality right, that this was a season that potentially they could win the league, and they went out with that perception, with that mentality, and they did the business. I'm happy for the keeper, Ofori. He did marvellously well. And he got a call. And he got a call up as well. He got a call up as well.
Can you name your preferred top 11 for the season?
So for me, and forgive me, I have to write it down. I've written about 72 different names.
Amazing.
And then worked through one or two statistics in order to get down to my final 18. Well, I've got Richard Ofori, and he's from Wild Stars. Amos Frimpong at right back, Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Abdul Bashiro, he's the captain at Dreams FC, a left full back. I've worked with him before at 11 Wise. Inusa Musa of Hearts of Oak. He came in the second round, but I mean, he's done a lot of good, and I think I've got to give some credit to the coach for his introduction, a new coach who came in. I mean, he's been lambasted a bit, but that's how it goes. Then Emmanuel Akuaku from Ediana Stars. He's also a stalwart in central defence. Sadiq Al-Hassan from Wild Stars, a reliable defensive midfielder. And I think, you know, here's where some people might think I go a bit wayward. Zakaria Mumuni of Wafa. Brilliant midfielder, and also Gideon Waja. Yeah, also a very, very good midfielder. And they're young, and they've got youth on their side. They're very, very good. Then Abednego Tete of Bechem. Now he wasn't a top goal scorer. He only scored 10 goals, but I think he has a lot of presence up there, and I have him in the hole as a number 10. And some people may raise eyebrows about this, but I've got Cosmos Dowder of Hearts of Oak. He scored 11 goals. I would have him as my man wearing the number 9 jersey. And then Richard Arthur of Wild Stars. And I mean, between those three, they've scored about 30 goals. I'd have Latif Blessing, who is the current goal scorer now, the goal king. I'd have him on the bench. I'd also have Kwesi Donsu of Mediama on the bench. Between them, they've scored over 30 goals. And Joseph Adu, the goalkeeper for Ediana. Francis Larby, the left fullback of Ediana. Wahab Adams, and he's a central defender also of Ediana. And Malik Akua of Mediama
Football Club. Very grateful. So that was Nana giving us his team of the Ghana Premier League this season. It's finally come to an end. What has been a riveting season, challenges without major sponsorship, but like he said, it went on and it's come to an end. We'll end it here, but you'll be seeing Nana more often this season as we look to give you the very best sports analysis here on The Tracker.